Well, welcome back, my friends. You see behind me my 1968 Pontiac LeMans. It's topless, well, it's hoodless. And it's got no engine. Well, it's got no transmission. In the last video, you saw me struggling for almost an hour. I apologize if it's windy. In that shop on a flat bay, and I was pulling out the engine and transmission out of this thing. I have done so. My Pontiac 350 and my 350 turbo transmission are sitting in there on the floor, and I need to split them apart and start this process. For those of you who are new here, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take this beautiful mint 1968 Pontiac LeMans and turn it into a little bit of a race car. Mr. Bob McVay of McVay Automotive, who you may know from Old Man's Garage or Street Racing Channel, reached out to me about 2 weeks ago and said, hey, did you ever get me something ready to be able to run at Pontiac Nationals this year? And the answer is no, not really, Bob. But it did motivate me to build one of my cars that's been sitting back here in the back 40 at the shop for a while. So that's where we are at this point in time. The idea here is we got to make this thing be able to run like a 12 flat, which is going to be a bit of a tall order for a Pontiac 350, but I'm willing to give it a shot. As you can see, it's pretty much mint. And by mint, I mean it's mostly all original and still mostly there. It's not real mint. There is undoubtedly a lot of work to be done here, but I think we can get it done. Now, the idea here is to have it ready to go for Pontiac Nationals, which is middle of July. If I get super lucky and we don't need a whole lot of hard to get parts or expensive parts, there's maybe even a chance that this thing goes back together in time for Power Tour. Now, I have been waffling around a lot about what I want to do with this car and how I want to build this. Ideally, we want to do it NA because we want this car to be a bracket racer. We want it to be dead nuts consistent. And when you're getting into nitrous and turbos and superchargers and that kind of stuff, power outers typically tend to make things a little less consistent when it comes to bracket racing. But it's no doubt an easier way to make more power, especially out of a Pontiac 350. So maybe the answer is do a not so crazy build, maybe put 100 shot of nitrous on it, which won't hurt it, or some sort of forced induction on it. The other thing is, for me personally, building a purpose-built race car that I can't ever drive, so it's like, 12.5 to 1 compression. I've got to drive it on race gas or E85. It's just not super appealing to me. But I do like the idea of maybe building this as a drag and drive car, something that I could actually enjoy other than just a quarter mile or an eighth mile at a time. Sorry, it's windy out here. Apparently we decided to have storms again here in Ohio. It's that season. So, maybe that's the build. Maybe that's the idea, is build this thing as a drag and drive car. And there's some ways to do that. We can go down that path. There's a lot to do. I got to put floors in this thing. I got to put a roof skin on it. I got to put rear bits in it, trunk pan in it. Oh, there's a lot to do. But first, I got to get this transmission off this engine, which is no big deal. I'm going to take the torque converter up with me. And we're going to drop that stuff off at Dion, Vickers Performance Transmissions. He is Vickers Brothers Performance Transmissions. Dion has done transmissions for us, a number of them in the past. And I technically actually already have a Pontiac Turbo 350 transmission actually sitting in there on the floor. That worst case scenario, if he can't get to this one, I could probably steal my one out of my 71, maybe. Anyway, let me get to work, and then I got a 4-hour round trip to go see Dion. By the way, welcome to Automotive Adventures with Austin, my own little personal YouTube journey here as I work on all my own personal projects that are outside the shop stuff. This is all mostly going to be shot guerrilla style like this, not real heavy editing, not real professional. It's just me working on my own stuff as I possibly can in the weekends, evenings, lunchtime, that kind of stuff. So that's what this channel is all about. This is my 1971 Pontiac LeMans. And as you can tell by the way it's sitting, there's no engine and transmission in it, but you know, it can technically donate its transmission, I guess, if we absolutely have to have it. I also do technically have a turbo 350 transmission in that. That's actually a my 1970 Le Mans, and it has a B&M turbo 350 in it. It's a small, it's a Chevy 350, but it's a B&M 350 that I technically could steal out of that car. The problem is if I steal the transmission out of that car, that means that car can't go to Pontiac Nationals or have any fun with it. So that doesn't make any sense. This is my turbo 350 for my Pontiac that's outside. Like I said, it's already been done by Vickers. It's just sitting here waiting on the motor to get done, which is unfortunately delayed because of customer stuff. And then that's another Vickers transmission. That's a for a Mopar. Clearly not a 727, but those are the guys that are going to do the work. Apologies, our air compressor is really, really loud. I'll get back to this when that shuts off. And there she be in all her glory. My Pontiac 350 and transmission. So I think the play here is I'm going to pull all the bell bolts loose. And I'm going to get up underneath it, take the torque converter bolts loose, and I'm going to pull the torque converter and the transmission together. I was thinking I could just leave the torque converter and flywheel on here, but I'm going to go ahead and pull the trans and the converter because I'm going to take the converter with me up there. The answer on what kind of converter we run is up in the air at this point in time because we have no idea what we're going to do power-wise and engine combination-wise. But if I have my converter there, at least it gives me a core for perfect converter 501 Bubba Rafferty to use for making me my converter, whatever I need to be doing in this motor, which we'll figure that out once we figure out what we're building. But at least at that point in time, he's got it there. So let's get a wrench, let's get this thing apart, and then I got a bunch of driving to do. I haven't touched these. Okay. It's not a great sign. None of these were even tight. Oh, God. Probably a good thing I'm taking this car apart. None of these are even tight. Oh, my God. Alright, let's get those torque converter bolts. Alright, this can be a little tricky if you don't happen to have a flywheel holder, because when you try to loosen these things, I just about to use the word untighten, it's gonna roll the transmission and converter over. So I need to figure out a way to hold on to this flywheel here. Well, maybe not, maybe not. Yep. At least the torque converter bolts are tight. That's good news. Alright, let's figure out how to hold that. And we'll get those out. There's only 3 of them, that's the nice thing. There's one here, one there, and one way up on the top. Aha! That'll work. Totally. Just jam it in the teeth. Maybe. Nope, it didn't work. Don't tell Rich. I found his. Don't worry. Most of the time I won't be using the proper tool for the job. But you just use this guy here in the teeth. And you use it to turn. Or keep it from turning. Like so. Which is, by the way, not easy to do when I'm trying to film it with one hand. You get the idea. 2 are out, 1 more to go. Easy peasy. 1, 2, 3 Alright, converter bolts are out. Just got the bell bolts to take loose. Then I'll lower this thing down. We'll pull the trans. And I do want to lower it down because this is not going to be weighted correctly when I take the weight of the transmission off. And I don't want my transmission or my engine to go onto its nose. So we'll pull bolts, leave the bell bolts slightly tight, and then anchor out of here. None of these are tight. Oh, this one is still tight. Oh, that one's gonna be tricky. I don't know if this one is still tight. Nope. Man, this transmission's just barely sitting on here. Whew. That guy's just barely in there. Otherwise, we've got it resting on the dowels. You can see there. And I got one on the bottom. That's it. We'll pull this guy out. Ta-da! Bolts are out. I only slightly dropped that transmission on my foot. I left that last bolt in there, hoping that the bolt and the dowels would hold it up, but apparently it was some misplaced hope. So I need to take this bolt off here for the shifter linkage, which runs up there for the kickdown cable, and otherwise she's loose. Then I just got to manhandle this thing in the back of whatever piece of crap I'm planning on driving for 2.5 hours. Whew. Alright, well, let's get her loaded. Now, I could probably toss that trans in the back of the... I could have actually put it back in the C10 if I really wanted to. But I think I need to stretch the legs on the old AMX. Right there. 1979 trusty rusty AMX. Nice thing is it's a hatchback, so you can stick yourself a transmission right back there without any problems. And she's gonna just fire right up. We'll give her a pump or two. Turn the key. And just fires right up like she was meant to. How's that 304 sound, huh? I love this little car. I really do. What a great little machine. Ah. Let's get my hood prop here. Tell me that's not just built to haul transmissions for hot rods, buddy. I love this little car. Now, I realize most of you probably have absolutely no idea what this is. I'll get to that in a future episode if you're interested. But this is my 1979 AMC Spirit AMX. It's the very, very last of the V8 stick shift rear-wheel drive AMCs. Super cool little car. Something you've probably never seen unless you've seen me from somewhere else. But very, very cool car. It's got this extremely nice flaming AMX logo on the hood. Factory. And she's a cool little beast. Pretty unique little machine. Did a budget rebuild of the AMC, the original 304 that was in the car. This is originally a 304 4-speed car. It's got a budget rebuild, low compression 304 in it. But we converted it recently from a 4-speed to a 5-speed, and it is mwah, wonderful. Gets like 19 miles to the gallon driving around on town. Great little vehicle. Absolutely love it. It's not perfect. It's definitely not perfect. It's got some holes in it, and a lot of things don't work, like all of the gauges. But man, it's a good little ripper. Anyway, let's get the trans thrown in this thing and get on the road, go see Mr. Dion. Perfect. Perfect. Yes, 3 consecutive power tours in this car. Now, unfortunately, as I said, my gauges basically don't work, so I actually have absolutely no idea how much fuel is in this car. So I am going to go get some fuel before I get on the road. Fuel stop at Costco is completed. I'm on the road again. I got about 2 hours to get to Dion's place, which will put me there around 4 o'clock. It's not going to be very exciting to watch, so I won't bother you with most of that. I just got a lot of driving to do. And no, I'm not wearing sunglasses because it makes me look cooler or because it's particularly bright outside. I'm wearing sunglasses because my roof disintegrates as I'm driving down the road, and I end up with rust in my face and my eyes and my beard. So these are safety glasses. All right, guys, I'll see you in a little bit. See you from Dion's place. This little car. Such a good little car. If you are one of the 2 people I've literally just passed who were taking videos or pictures of me, totally fine. I totally don't mind. I understand. It's a pretty weird car. Something you definitely don't ever see running down the road. I get it. If you're watching this video, hey, thanks for watching. Rainstorm in a vehicle that has what we will call at best intermittent wipers. This may have not been a great idea, honestly. Well, it'll at least be entertaining, one of the two. Big guy. All right. We have arrived. Welcome to Vickers Brothers Transmissions. Up in here in lovely Alliance, Ohio. You may ask yourself, why in the world did I just drive 2.5 hours one way to get to somewhere to rebuild my transmission? And the answer is because I like to support small businesses. We are a small business where I work, and we do our best to take care of our customers, and Dion is the same way. These guys do the same thing. They live the same life. They believe the same stuff. So you know what? I'm going to drive 2.5 hours to support them. So that's the reason we are here. Many of us will scream and complain about the fact that people just don't do good work anymore. Well, the way you fix that is you support the people who do good work. These are those guys, so that's why I'm here, doing my part. Hey guys. Hey. My goodness.
They're good. They don't have exhaust shots in Columbus?
That's got exhaust on it, buddy. That's hot rod exhaust. How you doing, guys?
Good.
Oh, that hurt.
Yeah, he has a back.
Oh man, he's got a powerful tail.
The other,
Oh.
we call it salmoning. The other day he was like facing Dave with his tail towards me, and it's just going, like a salmon would get you.
Yeah, I'm just short enough for it to not to hit me in the thigh. Oh yeah, that one stung. Thank you, buddy. All right, sir.
Yes.
I don't know what I have for you.
Looked like a Turbo 350 multi-case, doesn't it?
Sure.
Sure.
It came out of my 68 Le Mans.
Oh yeah.
As far as I know, everything in this car is original. But you're going to know this way better than me. There was one bell bolt that was tight.
What year is it?
The car is a 68.
That's not the original car.
Okay.
Okay.
So what am I looking at?
You're looking at a Turbo 350 lockup, and we're probably not even going to use that.
Okay.
So
Right.
So I know you like to drive.
Yeah.
But and you can leave this here if you'd like, but normally, like if we pick one of these up as a core, we strip it out, take the planetary, the high gear clutch drum, the rest of it goes in the trash can.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's no like a mild performance, blah blah blah, but anything that's half decent, they don't make the parts for a lockup.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah. So hopefully you stop to see your mom.
I'm going to have to probably do that.
Just to make it worth the trip.
All right, well, we got some conversating to do. I'll be back with you guys in a little bit. All right, so the plan at this point in time is going to be that transmission's probably not going to do what we want it to do. So Dion is going to work his magic and build me a new one. New BOP, Turbo 350. It'll handle enough power to be able to do what we're going to do. We're probably going to go manual valve body because we're probably not going to make a lot of vacuum. And then from there, we're going to figure everything else out. The problem is we don't have a motor, so we can't spec out transmission and torque converter really until we have a motor and we know what our power levels are. But we can at least get slightly started on that process. So this is why you have good people in your corner, folks, is because they're straight shooters and they're going to give you the real information and let you make a good decision yourself. So appreciate his help. Yes, I drove up here and I didn't necessarily need to, but at least I got to have the conversation and I know exactly what's going on and we're in a good place now. So there it is. Oh, and I left it back here on the floor so Dion can deal with it. Maybe there's something useful he can get out of it. We'll see. Anyways, guys, thanks for enjoying, hopefully, Automotive Adventures with Austin here. This is my own little tiny side project of the vehicles and projects that I have. So I have about a 2.5 hour drive home. Hopefully you guys don't see anything else after this, and I will catch you on the next one. Time to get that Pontiac 350 torn apart and see just what's what inside that thing. Maybe, just like this, it's not the original piece that's in the car, and who knows what I'm going to find. Next time.